Lord Black, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
This is an ambitious project, first of three volumes, The Political and Strategic History of the World. I mean, that's big.
It is, but the purpose of it is to show that that subject, vast as it is not completely unmanageable. The average educated person would think that any serious treatment of that subject would take 30 volumes of 1,000 pages each, and you'd spend 20 years reading them and fall asleep every 10 pages as you did so. So my point was to try, and now it's just a political history. It's not a cultural history and history of every aspect of human development. But my objective was to show, first, that it's relatively accessible and manageable. Two, can be packaged out in a way that if you just want to see any significant aspect of our development since we were clans and tribes in the Old Testament, it's there and you can get at it easily. And to emphasize the interesting or important personalities. Now, for this, some British interviewers, I should say reviewers, interviewers as well, have claimed that I was pushing the so-called great man theory of history as if I was some kind of a closet fascist or something. This is complete bunk, but people make history. I mean, let's not deceive ourselves. It doesn't just spontaneously happen without people; they actually make it. And so focused on that way. Look, it's a big read. I don't expect it to fly off the shelves and be in every house in America, but it's the whole history of the world. And it'll be in three books.
Is this everybody's history?
Yeah, it is. Now, the way I've done it is I started where, I mean, I can only go back as far as reliable history. I mean, I refer to folklore, but describe it as folklore. And essentially, we're starting in the Middle East, Mesopotamia, and India and China. And this volume gets us up to the beginning of the Christian era. I'm three-quarters through the second volume, which will get us up almost to the American Revolution. And the last volume will take us up to now. But what I do is, as those three opening areas broaden and stretch out and expand themselves, then the areas that they come into contact with are added. So, I start really in Mesopotamia in this book, but at the end of it, we've got the whole Roman Empire and are well aware of what's going on in India and China.
Does ancient history have more of an impact on us today than maybe we realize?
I think it is more instructive than we realize. And some aspects of it are still quite relevant to our own practices, but certain patterns of collective and individual behavior and patterns of leadership, group leadership, and building up into leadership of much larger jurisdictions are again useful to refer to, and both things to do and things to avoid doing.